love wine. Today, you and me are having an intimate rendezvous with Merlot. Are you curious who that is? Let me just get him real quick and get to meet him. So nice. So let's get to know this Merlot, right? Well, first we are going to discover who that is. Who is this Merlot? Secondly, we will have a closer look on where does he come from. Thirdly, what's he like? And fourthly, finally, what do I eat it with? All right, so who is this Merlot? The word Merlot actually comes from the French word merle, which means a blackbird. I honestly don't know why they call him that, but let's get past that. Merlot is a red grape variety, just like his fellow brothers like Cabernet Sauvignon or Malbec or Cabernet Franc. They kind of all hang out in Bordeaux. Merlot doesn't like to walk alone. I like to call it a social grape variety. I really think that it enjoys the company of other grape varieties. And what I really mean by that is that very often winemakers would mix different grape varieties together in a bottle. And Merlot is most oftenly mixed together with other grape varieties. So the winemaker would take a little bit of the juice from Cabernet Sauvignon, a little bit from Cabernet Franc, and also quite a lot from Merlot, because they balance each other so well out. And then he would create a so-called blend, and then he would put everything in a bottle. Sometimes Merlot is quite dominant, but most of the time it's Merlot's older brother, Cabernet Sauvignon, who really plays this important role. Okay, and where is his home? So this is a grape variety that originated in France, or was born in France, in for sure, one of the most renowned wine regions, Bordeaux. And in that wine region, there are two very tiny, small villages. One of them is called Pomerol, and the other one, Saint-Emilion. And these two tiny villages are considered to be the Mecca for Merlot. And in those tiny two villages, Pomerol, which is actually what it says right here on my delish bottle here, Pomerol, so this is a village, and Saint-Emilion, this is where Merlot thrives, even nowadays. And this is where one of the most expensive wines even come from. Names like Petrus or Château Petrus or Château Le Pin. These are really the big players in the arena of wine, where you have to give for a bottle of wine 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 euros. These are absolutely astronomical prices, but these wines have been loved. The demand for them is super high, and I even heard that Petrus is the favorite wine of Beyonce. Good taste. Merlot is a grape variety that really likes to travel. So although it originated in Bordeaux, it really got spread all over the world. Basically every country that makes wine grows Merlot. Like you can find it in Germany, in Austria, in Italy, in France, of course. You can find it overseas, like in the New World countries, as we call them. South Africa. You can also find it in New Zealand, in Australia, so really everywhere. Of course, you can find it in the USA. And in the USA, it's one of the most popular grape varieties. But then something happened, a true traumatic experience. There was this movie called Sideways about wine. There's two dudes traveling around and kind of drinking wine in California. And the main character, he despised Merlot. Strange that people kind of believed him. And afterwards, the sales in Merlot just dropped in the USA. They dropped drastically. So from being the most loved grape variety in the USA, you just became the most hated one. And even to nowadays, this grape variety Merlot is still recovering from this post-traumatic stress disorder. So what's he like? Well, this is the part where you actually drink the wine. think about Merlot, you probably heard me already say today, everybody's darling is really what comes to mind, because I think that for those of you who are just really beginning in the world of wine and you don't know where to start, in terms of red wine, begin with Merlot. It's not going to disappoint you. It's so easy to understand. You have this wonderful fruitiness, but like really nice, ripe black fruits like cherry. Think of like cherry jam even, or plum or plum chutney. It's plummy-yummy. And you will have some blackberries, so really more on the darker side in terms of fruits. When you taste it, it's going to have a lot of texture, but at the same time, wonderful velvety, smooth, sleek structure. Not too overwhelming, it's not gonna feel like you get a piece of earth or something. And then with age, it's going to show some, little intriguing aromas. It's just very nice, this herbal touch, like rosemary and thyme. Just look at myself. And some spices like cloves. Just a slight touch of vanilla, not too pop. So what would we eat it with? What would we eat it with? Okay, so let's, if you're a vegetarian, you gotta have some substantial meal in front of you, something like black beans, and don't hesitate to have like a nice flavorsome sauce to it. I think you can handle it. And if you're a meat lover, well, you have found your perfect match. Lamb and Merlot. Oh, it's so good, so good. It can be it's a perfection. Well, because, you have this, sometimes in Merlot you have this slightly smoky note, and also, as I mentioned, especially those aged Merlots, they would have this very nice herbal character, and it would really very much complement a nice rack of lamb. So yesterday I cooked a nice steak. We had a bottle of Merlot yesterday as well, which was significantly older, so it was 2011, and it had this pungent aroma like truffles and mushrooms, almost like balsamic vinegar kind of style, but in a very elegant way, like really in a very nice, almost like a little refreshing way. So very interesting grape variety. Don't underestimate it. Okay, so there you have it, folks. We've got to know this lovely gentleman. We have discovered who he is, a red grape variety. We have also discovered where is his home in France, in one of the most prestigious regions for red wine, Bordeaux. He shared with us all of his aromatic profile. He told us that he is, so cherry-like and plummy-yummy. And of course, I have gave you some of my favorite tips on how to pair this delicious beauty with. We now know that it perfectly also matches with a variety of foods that all of you enjoy, like steak, some beans for those of you who are vegetarians. So really a variety, a large spectrum of dishes. So thank you so much for joining, and I'm gonna finish this glass and go to sleep.